Hi, everyone. It's Shirley Farrar, and this is Encouragement on Fire. I am relaxing right now, so I'm sorry I'm a little laid back, but we are continuing to talk about life work balance. And I believe in our last podcast, we started to talk about setting clear goals. And I asked you to do your short term and your long term goals. So I hope that you've done that. In this particular podcast, number 95, we are talking about you researching your potential career paths. And how you're going to do that is two ways. You're going to explore options and you're also going to evaluate the fit. Okay, so explore options and evaluate the fit. How are we going to do that? Well, before I get into that, I want to share something with you. I think it's a great article on LinkedIn, actually. If you do not have a LinkedIn page, I encourage you to get one. It is a wonderful professional tool for individuals that want to link up with other people in your profession as well as navigate to gain employment, internships, networking. It's an opportunity for you to move ahead in your career. So I was scrolling through my LinkedIn and I came across actually the CEO at LinkedIn. His name is Ryan Roslensky. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm correct. He did an article and it was called Career Paths Are Never as Straightforward as We Believe, Introducing the Path. And this one was published January the 11th, 2023. If you have time, you always have time. It's a quick read. I want you to take some time to read it because he really goes into, as career professionals, we teach that there's this pathway, whether it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G to get you to the world of work. But the way he presents it is that it's not that cut and dry. And if you've been on this journey with me, you know it's not that cut and dry. Yes, you're going to have all those points, but sometimes it's going to zigzag and get up and down and up and down and move in different ways. So I want you to take a look at that. It's on LinkedIn and just take a quick read. I think you're going to get some real good knowledge from that, some good nuggets, okay? All right. So let's get back to our podcast number 95. And as I was stating, we're talking about researching potential career paths. So, the first one, explore options. How are you going to do that? Right? I would recommend that not only are you talking to your advisor or you're talking to your professional school counselor or your career counselor, a mentor, that you are talking to a career professional that can really talk with you on how you're going to go about doing that. Now, if you cannot do that, of course, you can use Google, you can use AI, you can use different pathways in order to explore how to do that. But I do want you to match up your interests and your life. The reason I had you do your goals is for you to discover what type of things you want to do. What is it you want to do in the future? So if you know what you want to do in the future, and I'm not saying it has to be an exact science, but the whole point is that you're getting to a point that you weren't before. And so when you've identified, let's say you say, I want to be a nurse. That's what I want to be. Okay. So remember, we talked about backwards mapping. If you want to be a nurse, what is it going to take for you to be a nurse? So we know there's schooling, we know that there's a certain amount of science, there's all these different things. Well, you have to make a vision board. You are going to have to write in your journal all the steps that are entailed in that. However, in order for you to explore the options, because there are different types of nurses, right? And even if you become a nurse, what else can you use that licensing for? See, those are the things that we really have to look into as we're moving down that pathway because you don't want to get locked into one thing or one way of doing something. Get out the box. There are options, okay? So, what are your interests in maybe being a nurse? What are your interests in maybe being an actress? What are your interests in being a scientist? What are the interests in that? Why are you doing it? See, all those things matter. So, we're looking at that. What is your skill set? What is your top skill set? Everybody always wants to, when you're doing the resume, writing that summary, of qualifications. Sometimes you don't even need that. You need to go straight to technical skills. Yeah, that's another conversation. But we want to look at, the online job portals. So there are many job portals that you can look online. Everyone uses Indeed. There is the BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor and Statistics. There are many others. I can give you those as well. So make sure you're emailing me so I can give you a list of them. But these are the ones you want to go on there. Now, if you are leaning down the path, nurse, actress, you know, uh, whatever, scientist, medical assistant, it's good that you first do an informational interview with someone to make sure that is what you want to do. When I say an informational interview, talk to the person that does this job every single day, who has done it maybe a longevity, not just somebody who's just gotten the job. Okay. And then ask them if you can shadow them on the job. That's important. The job description that you have downloaded from the internet, does it match what they actually do each and every day? You want to know this before you invest time and resources. Okay. Um, and in addition to, doing an informational interview, you also want to do professional networking. Like I was saying before, you want to go on a LinkedIn, you want to go on a platform that is conducive to what you do. Okay. So think about what I'm saying. If you're a techie, you're going to go on a technology profile, right? Professional site. If you are someone who is in more the medical, they will be related to that. You want to make sure that you are doing professional development, all those things, even before you start in the industry. Professional development is really key. Professional associations. Many times we have individuals that want to work in a field, but you are not willing to take other certifications. You're not willing to get in there and say, and I won't even say you're not willing. Sometimes you're not aware that they exist. And that's why it's important for you to talk to other people in the industry. If you can discover a title on the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, if you can discover a title and say, oh my goodness, this is something I want to do, then there's someone who's doing that job. You need to find them. Okay. All right. The second thing that we wanted to go over today is evaluating the fit, making sure it fits you. And that goes into the informational interviews. But as we get deeper and deeper, the day to day tasks. So it's important that you do as many internships, because many internships are what? 3 months, 1 month, sometimes 2 weeks. Yes, you can get internships that are many, and then they add up. So, an employer for an entry level position wants an individual to have at least 1 year's worth of internships. 1 year. Now, wouldn't it be lovely if you have multiple internships in various skill set that is needed for the occupation title that you ultimately want? So now when you are interviewing, you can now speak on all of those different things. Let's say that you have web designing, you have project management skills. So if you have project management skills, now they can tap into that, and they can have you work on their committees. They can have you work on other things in addition to what you bring to the table. So all of these things make you more marketable for what they need. You're more marketable if you have multiple skills, and that is what an employer is looking for. Also, what are the required qualifications for the position that you honestly want? It's nice to have a lot of different skill set, But if you're applying for a specific job description, you must have the actual skills for that job description. Now, sometimes you're going to have a small amount of skills. Sometimes you're going to have a large amount of skills. But this is the thing. It all depends on the, you know, how many people are actually applying for that job. And if you're the top person, or maybe you have enough that they're willing to train you, all of these things make a difference. Now, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just going to keep interviewing people until they get exactly what they want. And that's a possibility that you have to endure as well. But you keep applying, you keep doing what you do, you keep getting more certifications, you keep, um, you know, getting out there, staying positive. Okay. Um, and then making sure also that the work environment um, of the potential career is for you. Now, I've seen people love the job, you know, but the working environment, it could be the working environment of the state they live in. So you could honestly love what you do, but hate the state that that job is in, right? Or the environment, the culture that you're surrounded by. There, you have to be able to be comfortable in your own skin, but then you also have to be comfortable in your environment. That's really important because every day you have to get up and do that job. Think about that. Every day you have to get up and do that job. So when you're researching, a potential career path, just remember it's not going to be that cut and dry like that LinkedIn article said. It's not going to be, A, B, C, D, and no. You're going to go through the check boxes, but sometimes you're going to jump from A to Z to M to and so forth and so forth. You're going to jump back and forth over the different things that you have to do. Sometimes you're going to have to do 3 and 4 internships. Sometimes you're going to have to take jobs that you may not want to gain experience, a specific experience for the job that you do want. So I want you to think about that, okay, when you're researching. And it's going to take some time. I don't want you to think that, okay, I'm just going to jump on, Indeed, or I'm going to jump on BLS.gov, or I'm going to jump on some of these websites. I'm going to do a quick search and I'm good. Mm-mm. This is your life. This is your life. You're not going to get on these websites 1 or 2 times doing research and looking up occupations. You're going to continue to do this over and over again until you get the right occupation title for you. And this is the thing, even if you find the right fit today, you are eventually going to change. And whatever you're doing, it may not be enough for you. So you may have to have some other, outside employment than what you're doing, or community service until you can shift to the right next fit for you. I know you're hearing what I'm saying, right? Because you're going to have, like I told you before, about 7 different occupations before you're through. Okay? All right, well, this is Shirley Farrar, and this has been Encouragement on Fire. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.